Anybody else?
No,
I think I just said many years.
okay.
There you all are.
Hey, Jen.
Evening.
Question before we get started, what's the delinquent water people? What's the significance of the ones that were highlighted?
The ones that are highlighted are gonna get pink letters if they're not paid
Oh,
by the
okay.
20th. They're the ones that are,
Way overdue or,
yep,
yeah,
they're
okay,
the ones that are gonna go through the disconnect process if they don't pay.
okay.
Is Larry gonna be on?
Yeah,
A lot of coats and sweatshirts.
The weather is changing.
Today was nice, 50 degrees or low 50s, but
it was nice.
back,
A little blustery, but
changing in a hurry.
we're looking at 2 pages in the agenda now. We've got to do something about it.
Well, the new
Part
format
of it's
spreads
the-
it out a lot.
Part of it's the new format. I was able to get it on one letter size sheet for posting around town. But I've gotta manipulate it to do that.
So you can't just do a normal Word document like you did before?
I can. Yeah, I can.
I assume this is like a standard agenda
Yeah.
format for the town, okay?
It doesn't matter.
No.
Teasing.
There are some good things about it and there are some
Yeah.
not so good things about it, so.
I know, yeah, I was looking for, I think it was water board or select board the other day, not all of the minutes were posted, yeah,
No, we have a new assistant starting tomorrow
okay,
in the office, and that's gonna be one of her jobs is to.
who is it?
Lori
Oh,
Chalmers.
is it? Oh,
It's Lori, yeah.
good.
Yeah, to get us up to date and get all that stuff loaded back onto the website,
Excellent.
so.
It's time. He's Larry. now.
There it is.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Larry.
Hello.
We recording?
Hey,
We are
Jen.
recording. Yeah.
So let's see. Are we missing anybody?
Nope.
Nope, we're recording. We're up.
Excellent. All right, so I will call the North Hero Water Board meeting to order November 11th, 2024 at 6 p.m. And I think we should just take a moment. Seems that it is a holiday here to recognize all those men and women who have served or are serving in our country, including my dad. So maybe if we just take a minute to be thankful to those folks, and then we'll move on. Adjustment to the agenda. Hearing none. Approval of the minutes, October 14th, 2024. Does anybody have any concerns there?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That sounds like everybody. So it passes. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Approval of the warrants, November 11th, 2024. So we got the what do we got? We got the 11:08. Okay, so Frank, you're up.
Yes, so I can make a motion to approve the two warrants. Fund 21, 31,197, spot 36. And Fund 22, 5,944, spot 09.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was that an aye from you, Jim?
Yes, it was.
Okay, and I'm sorry, Frank, was that 22 and 21 together or just 22?
They were separate. 21 was 31,197, spot 36, and 22 was 5,944, spot 09.
Okay. All right, so we're good. And my bet on the budgets of skipping over all that hard work. So maybe if we can just jump back. I was clicking on my other iPad to look at it since I don't really have my printer up and going here. Yeah. Is there anything, Lisa, we should be concerned about the budget status or the balance sheet? Or Frank?
No, we're just making some tweaks as we discussed at the last meeting. To
To next year's budget.
next year, and that seems to be fine, moving along, so. That's pretty much.
Great. I have one little question. I was just looking through it and it jumped out at me. It says child care contribution, $10.98.
So the child care contribution is the new tax that the state imposed as of July 1st, 2024. And when we did the budget, we thought it was going to work like FICA and be charged to each department as FICA is. So that's how we budgeted. But when the software company set it up, it goes to the employee's home department. So that would be for me, and it's going to go to the general town office line.
Okay. And
It's
is
just 0.44%, so it's a small amount, but it's being charged to the town office line.
okay. All right. Thank you for that explanation. All right, let me get out of there. I sort of like this where you can click on those links and get to see all that. But like I said,
That's pretty.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
I
can
got
always-
like two iPads out here trying to go back and forth, but I guess I could probably do it online. Anyways, recognition of visitors. Do we have any visitors tonight?
We do not.
Wagner Development Partners, do we have anything from them?
Yeah, I've been in contact with them, Peter, the other day, and we'll get into a little bit more detail later on when we talk about the USDA funding, but Sean Fielder from the USDA trying to set up a Zoom meeting with him and Wagner and Lisa sometime this week to go through the USDA requirements. Myself, get into a little bit more detail later on.
Okay, yeah, there's one in there on it that I wanna chat about.
Yeah, that's later in the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, the monthly project budget report.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because that needs some major corrections.
Yeah, that's why I want to get this meeting set up this week.
So, all right, so we will address that when we get further down. SOS report, Brian, or you want to take that one?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
We had a leak on Saturday. And, we had a new contractor come under the auspices of John Bolak, using his equipment. Who's starting his own new business. And both Kevin and I recommend that we invite this fellow to apply to become one of our preferred contractors. The reason being is he was really impressive. Knew his stuff. He showed up with absolutely everything he needed. He had a very competent crew. We had the pipe open and the hole located within 45 minutes. And it went click, 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 and that's what this guy has for his background is underground utility repairs. And he'd be really interested, so I'd like the board to approve inviting him to apply. His name's, the business is called Cutting Edge Landscaping and Excavation LLC. The guy's name's Ben Bernor. Came highly recommended by John Bolak. And it would be really nice to have another preferred contractor on our list. Because we couldn't get anybody else to come on Saturday.
Well, I'll make the motion that we invite Cutting Edge, to fill out the paperwork, give us our qualifications, so we can consider them for being one of our approved contractors in the future.
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. My only question, or I should say my input, Kevin gave me the same briefing. He said he was very impressed with the work that was done. Where is the home base of this company?
Westward, Milton Westward line. He
Okay,
was here in 40 minutes.
yeah, good. All right, any other discussion?
And did he
Hearing-
happen to show up?
Where did he say?
How
What was
did
the
he
question?
happen to, how did he happen to show up at this event?
John Bolak. He
Oh.
had, John Bolak called him to operate Johnny's equipment because John was at a funeral.
Got it.
And he says he's got his own equipment or would use Bolak's equipment and it was a pretty impressive performance. I gotta tell you, it's the slickest repair I've ever seen.
Yep, and we went outside the normal group as an emergency thing, Jim, because there was a funeral going on and we could not find anybody else. So it was,
Well, it was Bolak. It was his equipment and he'll be billing us.
oh,
it
you
was
were
on-
gonna go through him, okay.
This was Bolak did the job, but the fellow who came has his own business and I would like to see him apply.
Okay. Okay, that clears that up. I did not understand that. Any more questions or comments?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and I heard Jim. Sounds like it's unanimous. Oh,
Do you have contact information that I can send him the paperwork and stuff?
Yep.
You can send that to me?
Send it to you.
Okay.
all right, and while he's doing that, the Sullivan Associates invoice, was that on the funds also, Lisa? Or
To
Frank?
pay?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was, okay. So Kevin put this here because he called me up and thought initially it was gonna be over $5,000 and all this other permission that he needed. And it was a emergency part that we needed for the plant. And he was sort of nursing the plant by manually running it. And I told them to just go ahead, order it, expedite the shipping and get it here. And that's why he has it showing up here like that, to sort of show that he used my emergency authority to go ahead and purchase that. Any questions on that?
Do you need a motion to approve it after the fact?
If you want, I don't think.
I think you've approved it when we approved the warrant.
I think so too. We already approved it.
Yes, we approved it to pay, and then you guys sort of approved it when you gave me the emergency authority at the initial meeting. The organizational meeting.
And Jim, just so you know, it was actually the main flow meter, which they use that to pace the chemical additions. So Kevin was having to check that every couple of hours to make sure the chemical additions were correct. So it was a pretty big deal not having it in operation.
Yeah, it was a huge deal, and I think he did a great job. Any more questions on that?
Larry, we're just gonna bring it to the select board next week because it was in excess of $3,000 and the select board's supposed to approve anything over 3. So,
You can if you want. I don't think it needs to be, but you're welcome to. Just tell them it was an emergency, and I used the emergency authority to go ahead and order the part.
okay.
One last thing on our SOS report is, here is
Yes.
what we have now, as a way to lock the tops of curb stops. Herein is a curb stop, as you see it, sticking out of the ground. And this is the cover to the valve tube. And this goes on over that and around the pipe, and then is locked with this combination padlock.
And in order for that to work, the curb stop has to be sticking above grade a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, which, how many of them are?
Some,
Some, yeah.
a good proportion. In any event, I would suggest that we have one now. This one. We may want to purchase another one just to have it on hand. But I wouldn't recommend buying a whole bunch of them. Because it doesn't seem to me there's a whole bunch of places that we're likely gonna have to lock off. And it has its drawbacks. I mean, it's pretty easily, I mean, all you need is a bolt cutter and you're in. But it would keep honest people honest and so forth like that, so I would recommend that we purchase maybe one more. So that we have 2 on hand and call it good for now.
Okay. A motion to purchase one more?
I'll
Make a motion to purchase one more. Curb
I'll
stop
second.
lock.
And I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay, any more discussion on it? Thank you, Brian, for that follow-up. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? Not hearing any, it's unanimous. Okay, any more SOS stuff, Brian or Andy?
Well, we got the winter work projects later on.
Okay,
Yeah.
but nothing under that. Okay, water credit supervisor report. I'd like to click on that and look at it. So Lisa, what is the significance of the yellow?
Those are the ones that if they are not paid by November 20th, are going to start the disconnect process.
Okay,
And the disconnects are scheduled for December 3rd through the 5th.
all right. Now, if we get to that stage, is there an additional fee they have to pay?
I think in the policy, it says to have it turned back on, there's an additional fee, although we rarely get to that. These are all repeat offenders and usually come in and pay when they get that pink letter on November 20th.
No, okay. I'm just wondering, is there any way to sort of reimburse us for all the time that we spend or you spend doing this and tracking it versus the I'm looking here, $12 or $17 of,
Interest.
yeah. Or is it, I remember it was fairly regulated by the state of Vermont as a utility that you could only do X amount of things. Any thoughts there, Lisa?
I don't have any thoughts on it. I can look it up in the statute to see what they say, what they allow.
And guys, what are your thoughts? Should we just leave it the way it is? Should we look to see if if somebody can't afford to pay, I understand that. If there's somebody that is just making us paperwork, I don't understand that.
Well, I think the statutes govern it, so we have to research that. But any other business that's out there, if somebody's late, they get a late fee. Just look at your credit card. If you don't pay it by 7 PM on that night, the next morning, that late fee's there. So, but you have to go by because it is a regulated utility, first order of business is to research the statute.
Yeah, I think so is that worthy, guys, or not worthy? I don't want to waste Lisa's time if it's not worthy.
I think for the amount of revenue we're talking, it's not worth adding it to Lisa's workload.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay,
But we're wasting a lot of our time already by doing all these notices and the cost of the mailings.
Well, it is.
how about maybe Lisa, you just take a little peek at it. Don't spend a lot of time, but I sort of remember that it was fairly straightforward. It said you can do this, you can do this, you can't do this. Maybe it'd be good just to peek at it again.
Okay. I'll do that.
Are we good with that? More discussion?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
mean, if it's plug and play, then we can implement it. Since you gotta contact him anyway, we can just say, it's gonna be 3% penalty or something.
okay,
Probably SOS would be familiar with the requirements, right? They operate a lot of water systems.
Well, they probably would be, but perhaps not Kevin.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, SOS.
Do they do billing for water systems?
I think they do for
Yes.
something.
Oh.
I was gonna say is they operate, but do they handle the accounting and the billing?
I'm not 100% sure, but it's worth asking.
Yeah, I can find it. I can look it up in statute.
Yeah.
okay, thank you, and moving on, let's see, the rest of it, lien release, 52 Westview Lane. We have, they finally
So-
paid off.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to, the lien was put on in 2011. I think I'm guessing Westview Lane's a private line. And we did the repairs. And they didn't pay, so, a lien was put on, and I'd have to go back and look to see how many are still outstanding, but, this one was paid because the property sold.
Okay, yes, I do remember this. I think there is like 2, maybe 3 other people there. Okay, so unless there's an objection, I'm gonna go ahead and sign that unless somebody feels we need a motion.
Well, you and Lisa need to sign it.
Okay, so I can, let's see, I'll sign that tonight and send it back to you.
Great.
Sign, email back. Okay, all right, let me get back to board discussion action items, fall, winter work projects, Andy Bryan.
We went through the last meeting that he had done a pretty comprehensive fall and winter projects list, and that he had the annual to-do list incorporated in it, so I don't see anything we need to do on that this month.
Okay, all right. B, the policy to accept online bids update. Anything new there from the select board, Lisa?
No, well, I mean, not since they approved.
Yeah, no,
right.
not since.
I'd say the one thing that's different, Larry, and I'm sure you're aware of this, the bids are now only going to the engineer and to the state. They're not coming to the town.
Yes, that's what I requested per
Yeah.
what I heard from the chair of the select board that night we were there.
Yeah, so, because that's a little bit different than how we laid it out originally. But I think that's a good idea. And so there will be a Zoom, actually a Teams meeting for the bid opening. So any member of the public that wants to witness the bid opening will be able to.
It went out to bid this week, right?
Last week, on the 6th, yeah.
So let's make sure we get an email out. Maybe you can help us with this, Lisa, to get an email out the day, at least the day before, reminding the water board, because anybody on the water board is welcome to be there, and also the select board.
Yeah.
And make sure Kevin also is on there.
Yeah, and well, we have a date and a time. It's December 20th at 1 PM is when the bids are due.
So I'm just looking for a update that everybody gets it, and a copy of that link.
The Zoom link?
I think the link's gonna,
Link, okay.
it's gonna be sent out by Wayne.
Okay,
All right. And okay. Any other questions on that? And so me and Andy, it's a little more history. Me and Andy went to that meeting. Was that
Yeah, last week.
already, was that last week?
Yeah.
So we haven't had a water board meeting since then. Yeah, so the concern with the town was it's not in their policy and in their procedure. And their other concern was how do you protect it? How do you protect that email? And we did go around and round of who would get the email and layers of protection. And as Andy said, the way that I saw the best way to protect it was just our engineer in the state got the email, and then we opened it up in a Zoom meeting, Teams meeting, whatever, while the select board is going to continue to work on their policy and then come up with however they're going to deal with that in the future, or possibly the next time we bid it out. So that's what we got out of there, and they're working on that now. I think they're researching it. All right, water storage project timeline discussion. So I guess we can put when are the bids opening again, Andy?
December 20th,
So
assuming it isn't postponed.
December 20th.
Yes.
So I guess on the timeline for December, we can put the bid opening of December.
Yeah, the RFP went out in November, but the bids will be due in December.
So we can update that with the date. And any thoughts on January, February, or what? Anything there, guys?
No, I think, I don't think much will happen on site during that period. We've got groundbreaking in March. Hopefully that's, it'll happen.
Yeah. All right, any other corrections or additions to the timeline? Okay, not hearing any, we'll move on. Wetlands permit application. We've got that taken care of. It was approved on the 21st. That's just a picture of it, the first one, and then document for recording. Which I take it means, do we have to record it too, Andy?
It gets recorded in our land
right.
records. Yep,
Okay,
Yeah, you would record it.
yep.
okay, and you're working on that, Lisa, or it's been done already? Or
It was in the pile to be recorded, yes.
okay, and then the last one is, it's just another section of the permits first.
Mhm.
So we got those three. Okay, DRB decision. Jim, it's all you.
Yeah, well, we had the meeting in December. I forget the exact day. I attended it, presented everything. There was some interesting discussion that ensued, but we got a written approval from the DRB on October 25th. And the conditions were pretty much as I wanted them, which means almost none. The only conditions were file a Mylar within 2 years. I've already asked Aldrich and Elliott for the Mylar. They didn't suggest any changes to the Mylar that we submitted. No change in approval without prior approval by the DRB, that's boilerplate. And the permit expires in 2 years if none of these things are met. So that was all fine and good. Very happy with the way it ultimately turned out. Along that line, it's not on the agenda, but it's tied to this, is I have the building permit ready to drop into the zoning administrator. And Andy and I are setting up a little chit chat with Danielle on Wednesday, right, Andy?
Yes,
Because there was just one interesting question to answer on the building permit application. You know, we are the applicant, but the owner, the landowner signature is required on this form, which is the state of Vermont AOT. My question to Danielle will be, since we have a lease and since we have in process, which I know we're getting, is a permit from the state to construct, shouldn't that suffice as those two documents as signature on that form? That will be hopefully be ironed out Wednesday morning.
and
And
as
that's
assistant
ironed out.
zoning administrator, I believe that's adequate. To just reference the lease agreement and the state permit to construct.
So I'm gonna have a meeting with the ZA and the assistant ZA who's sitting right beside you right now on Wednesday morning. And just make sure that, I just want to make sure that when I drop that into her lap, that she's gonna be okay with it and just sign it.
Okay,
So I have all the drawings we need for that. We got a nice drawing from Aldrich and Elliott, with the elevation and how the auxiliary building is gonna be put together. So she's all happy with that drawing already. So we're in good shape with that. I think we'll just find out Wednesday and we'll report back later.
And then, once she does sign the permit, she'll fill out the poster that we'll have to post up on the site that day.
14-day poster.
Yeah.
okay. Nice work. Appreciate that. Any other questions for Jim on that? Okay, not hearing any. Let's see, step 3, construction loan application. Is that the revolving loan fund, Lisa?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yep, you approved it last meeting. The select board approved it. We sent it to Jason. And then Jason had some changes that he came back with and actually increased the amount to 1.9 million. So we questioned that. Because we've only been approved for 1.8 by the voters.
Mhm.
So, and if it was gonna change the amount, it was gonna have to go through the whole approval process with you and then the select board again. So Jason left it as is and submitted it.
All right, now Jason is, help me out.
Yeah.
He's who?
Jason Booth, he'll be taking over for Wayne. He's actually right now the president of Aldrich and Elliott.
Yeah, so yeah, it shouldn't be 1.9. So he fixed it then, right? He
He
must have
fixed it.
bad number.
Yeah, he said it was an updated cost. It was the first I had seen that number, but we weren't approved for that by the voters, so we couldn't apply for that.
Right.
He said it was an updated cost. It sounds like he's got his numbers mixed up between cost and maybe borrowing. So anyways, it's in there. On top of that, the state, I believe, has only allowed us 900 and something of it anyways,
Right, yeah.
that we'll be able to use. Okay, so good. So that's on track. Water tank color wording on tank. Any thoughts there?
Well, it's gonna be a standard manufacturer's color, which I think will be dark blue. And I don't recommend that we make any attempt to put paint over that. It'll be a maintenance issue. But the next question will be, do we want some wording on, some type of wording on it?
I would suggest that wording is not a great idea.
Yeah.
Because it's just gonna be, again, a maintenance issue and what's it gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, if
Depositors dollars here. I
if
mean,
we're gonna be 100-foot high tower, maybe we'd want,
right.
but it's not. It's,
I think staying low profile is more important.
I agree.
Okay, everybody good with that?
Yeah, so it's probably the blue. It's gonna be a short, fatter Heister silo.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, bid schedule. Well, I guess we pretty much talked about that.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna move on. Phase 2, US Route 2 water line replacement. Me, Brian, and Kevin had met once with Wayne and then once independently, and I'll let you take it from there, Brian.
You know, I met with Kevin the other day about it. He's pretty much ready to go to Aldrich and Elliott with the layout that what we would like to replace, including where we would like to put our new gate valves to facilitate future repairs and to set this up. And I'm going to meet with him tomorrow morning here to finalize that. If anybody else wants to come and stop and look at what we've got drawn out, it'll be short notice. It'll be on his way from South Hero from Grand Isle to North Hero. Late morning sometime, but it's pretty much what Larry and I and he had discussed at the plant. The biggest question is how much of it can we afford? We'd like to do 5,000 feet. If we can only do 4,500 feet, we're gonna take it off of the south end.
Mhm.
And the next step is to get it to Aldrich and Elliott. Let's start getting some immediate feedback on that. And I think the thing we want to find out most of all is how much of this do they think we can afford?
Mhm.
And what will be the process and the logistics for temporary water and while we're doing the work? Because we'll still have to supply the new tank
Mhm.
as well as shutting down, each day different connections. So I'd say we're well on the way with that, and by next month, maybe we'll have a little bit of initial feedback.
Yep. Okay, so here's what I'd like to do with that. We did a timeline with the water storage. I think we need to do a timeline on phase 2 with the pipe replacement. And one of the key ones on the timeline is to put the last month of 2026. And does anybody remember what month is the drop dead on the north? It's the northern borders, right?
I think it's September.
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 It's September of 2026. So we need to have it with the 2026, and that's September, with a note that says, the funding no longer good on this, on the northern borders at this point. I think for November, I think the goals would be to finalize the tentative plan of replacement. Brian, what do you think?
November 25.
Yeah. No, November 24. Meaning that the plan you're working on now being accepted by all of us to move forward.
That'll be December at this point.
That'll be December at this point,
Next
because this
meeting.
is the November meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't see having a meeting with Wayne before December then?
Yes, I plan to have Kevin go drop off our plans at Wayne's this week.
Okay. All right, so we'll just leave November blank and December.
We should probably all take a look at it at our next water board meeting, what you guys are proposing.
Yeah, because he won't have done much on
Right.
it by then,
Yeah.
but I'd like to have it in his office.
Yeah.
By the December meeting, I plan to bring the materials here of what we have.
Yeah, perfect.
But that will be the first week of December
Yeah.
before I'll have that.
Okay, and so what we need that, and we need a contract. So we need both of those in December, would be my guess. January, we probably need a time frame out of him. I just want to get this sort of, we need to put the goalpost out there of where we're headed.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. Yeah, we should, by next meeting, we'll have some feedback on that.
Okay. All right, let's see, I've timed out of my other iPad here. So that was D. All right, anything else there? All right, E, discussion of disbursements and requirements for grant funding for the MBRC grant, which is done deal now.
Yeah, it's been done for a while, but the reason it's on the agenda here, there's an annual financial report that's due. And their fiscal year ended on September 30th, so we needed to submit this annual report, a copy of which is part of the packet.
So there's an annual report that was submitted. All right, I'm not seeing that. Is it part of these?
Page
34
That's a nice thing about this.
and 35, yeah.
I think he's looking at the web though.
Yeah, I'm looking at the web, so, okay, so that's taken care of.
It's right after the DRB decision. Or, that's the permit, right? Yeah, no, right after the permit. Yes.
Yeah, I don't have that package, so, unless it's somewhere else on the, I'm just looking at the, okay, anyways, it was all done.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah, it's the SF 425, 2024, 1016 signed.
Okay.
In blue on the web.
Yep. Okay, so I just see the 2 pages with it. Yep. All right, good. Any questions on that? All right, moving on to Congressional Direct Spending USDA grant update. What's the latest?
We're very close, near as I can tell. Sean Fielder from the Montpelier office of USDA has been in regular contact with me. He doesn't have a lot of direct control over what goes on down in Washington, but he's given us a checklist that went to Lisa and I think Wayne a week or two ago of about, I think it was like 8 things that he needed. And I think we've taken care of most of those.
Okay, that's on the state
I know
side.
you took care of the bulk of them.
Yep, I'm
Yeah.
working on them. I've
All
got,
right, well,
yeah, I've talked to Mike Tarrant to get the agreement and, I've talked to Chad to get the auditor's agreement. So, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
working on those.
I mean, it was all kind of routine stuff. So we're in the process of getting all of that completed and into them.
Good. That'll make Lisa happy. How about the Fed side, Frank? Have you got any input back from them?
They had asked us for an identifying number, a grant number, which we didn't have. because
And we
it
still
hasn't
don't
been-
have
it
until
hasn't
we
been
actually
given.
get the authorization. Yeah.
And so I didn't go back and torture them just because we were
And it,
talking to Sean and
yeah, it
letting that play out.
feels like the process is working about as well as it can under the circumstances and. Sean won't commit to anything, but it really does sound like it's a day-to-day type of thing at this point. Of course, today was a holiday. I couldn't talk to him, but I'll be getting in touch with him tomorrow.
But Sean's the state guy, right?
Well, he's the state USDA guy, yeah.
But how about the DC folks? Aren't they the ones we're waiting on? I thought
Yes.
this was done.
No, he's been submitting information to them. He's been in contact with them.
So is this additional information they've been asking from
Yeah.
Sean?
Well, it's all routine stuff that they need for any any grant award, so.
Okay, all right, and do we have a projected timeline?
No, all I can say is it seems like it's day to day at this point, but he would not commit to any final date.
Okay, so should we be sending the national folks and our congresswoman that we're still working on it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
that's what I don't think we should yet push through Representative Balance office.
yeah, they said they had reached out
Okay,
and they just wanted to make sure that they had the grant number, the specific identifier, which
we
we
don't
don't
have.
have.
What's the specific identifier? What's that?
They actually issue us the grant, it will have a number on it, but we
Oh,
don't have.
okay, okay.
We have a lot of other numbers, but we
Yeah,
don't have that number.
not that one.
Okay, well, we can't wait to reach out to the office after we get approved. It's just, I've been hearing you say that for the last 3 months that we
I
should.
know.
And how's that work so far? Is
Well-
sort of how I look at it. We still don't have it.
No, we were told all along that USDA was gonna be very difficult to deal with, so here we are.
Yep, and we were told also by the Congresswoman's folks that if we needed help to reach out
Yeah.
to them. So
Agreed.
I think we should reach out again and just say, hey, we're moving slowly and what else, what else can we do or something to help make it move faster? That's my thought on it.
Do you have any sense for when we would have that checklist completed?
Yeah,
We owe them?
yeah, let's get
We should wait for
everything
you to do
into them that
and
they've
then-
requested.
Okay.
And which should happen this week and see where we are at the end of this week.
Okay, all right, now looking at this monthly project budget report. And I looked down through it after we had that meeting with Wagner. And remember, for this to work, and we talked about it with him and he said, oh yeah, it'll work like that. we're gonna take the 900 and some odd $1,000 out that we're bonded for. So we have to spend that money here in this project. So when I look down through there and I see there's CRP 360, the NBRC 500, the USDA 500. What I should be looking at is the USDA 500. And then I should be looking at the applicant contribution of whatever the state's going to allow us to borrow, the 923 or 24, whatever that number is. And then I was under the impression that the northern border one at this point could only be spent on putting the pipe in the ground.
That's all correct, Larry.
Okay,
These numbers you see are the numbers we submitted back when we first applied for the funding. And so
okay,
that's what he said this is a template, this is based on the numbers we have right now. That's why I'm trying to set up a meeting this week with Sean and Lisa and Wagner.
so we did that meeting that I sat in with Wagner. We went through it and had all the numbers. I don't understand why we have to do it again.
This is the USDA. This is the numbers they had. They've had no reason so far to change the numbers because we haven't asked them to.
Okay, well, remember those numbers, the 900 and something is it is critical. Because otherwise we would have to bond again. And then we would lose the 0% 30-year funding on top of that.
Agreed. That's why I got in touch with Wagner last week. That's why I think it's critical we get together. Because talking to Sean, he said, well, look, this is what you submitted. This is what we're gonna do. And I said, things have changed. It's been a long time since we made that submittal. So anyway, that's why we're gonna get together this week to hopefully get that straightened out.
Okay, I thought Wagner was gonna do that after the meeting.
Well, this is the first they've heard about it. I sent that to Wagner the same day I got it. That spreadsheet that came from USDA.
Okay, all right, before it goes to Sean, I wanna take a peek at that new one that will be put together.
Okay. Yeah. We just, the reason I want Sean involved is just so we understand, we know we're not gonna have a final spreadsheet now. Just wanna talk through the process of updating it. In fact, once we get the bids in next month, that's gonna change a lot of the numbers.
Yeah, and I'm not concerned with those numbers. I'm concerned with the funding numbers of how it's being presented to them.
Yeah.
Is, and, yeah, all right. Any other questions on that? Did any of the other board members have questions? Frank, you haven't?
Step out. Frank had to step out.
Oh, Frank had to step out. Okay. All right. Preparation of monthly project budget report. What do we have here, Andy?
That came along with that spreadsheet from the USDA. It just spells out the procedures for billing them on a monthly basis.
Okay. All right. And everything, are you happy with that, Lisa? Did you get a chance to look through?
Yeah, yep.
And ultimately, I think that's something Wagner's
Wagner,
we'll roll that into what Wagner's doing for us.
Okay. All right, CRRP grant reimbursement update.
We received we submitted one and we received the reimbursement. We have not submitted anything. We've only had 2 months, I think, of invoices, so
Okay.
Worked.
But it did work.
it worked, yes.
Right, that's
We-
good.
Started to get, yeah, it was like $25,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Enhanced policy to hook on fee application. So this came about, I was talking to Kevin when we were talking about phase 2 with the pipe, and then I chatted with Lisa, and it was sort of trying to find, is there another solution to those that slip by that don't get billed for a long period of time? And I sort of went back to how we used to do the projects, where that when we did a project and they signed up, we used to say, hey, within 6 months of the time the water starts flowing, regardless if you're hooked up, we're going to start charging you because we got to pay for the infrastructure. So I was wondering if there was a way, when you pay your hook on fee, if we put something in there that said, you'd be charged 6 months or a year later, we would start billing you regardless if you're using water, unless we heard from you. And Lisa talked me out of it, saying that she didn't really see that many, and there's a sort of a loop in there already where you go back a year later. Is there a tag or something, Lisa?
I have a list of all connections that have been paid that have not been turned on. And every year prior to June billing, Kevin takes the list and goes and checks each one of the connections. So every year those connections are being checked to see if they're turned on or off.
That should take care.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. Okay. So that was a thought that came up, and it looks like it's under control. And let's see, Frank, you're back. I was going to ask you, did you have any questions on the budget report up there with the congressional direct spending and that portion?
No,
No, or any input? No, we're good. Okay. Unauthorized water service connection update. I guess, Brian, that was part of you.
Yep.
And it was part of the one we just talked about above. Otherwise, do we have any more thoughts on that? And I had asked Kevin when I saw him, how big do we think it is? And I think me and Lisa talked about that too. And it doesn't sound like it is a huge thing, but occasionally some get through.
Yep, and we do have a notice here in the annual report thing about theft of service and how you're not paying for it is illegal and all that sort of stuff, so I think we pretty well got it covered. And we're gonna keep honest people honest.
Yeah. And if we did put one of those on and somebody did use a bolt cutter, that'd be a pretty good indication that they're cheating.
It would. Actually, I could make that thing work without a bolt cutter, but as could any tradesman who has tools in his truck.
There. And that's why we have engineers on the board. All right, so I guess what we're saying collectively is that we've beaten that one and we're good to take it off. Does that sound good, Andy, or
Yes.
Brian?
We could do that,
All right.
get down to 2 pages.
Okay, excellent. Jim, you're good. Frank?
yeah,
Okay. Financial report, then you're up, Frank.
okay. So Eagle Eye Lisa caught a couple of mistakes that I had in my numbers, so we've adjusted those. Not way out of whack, just they off the wrong basis. And so made those adjustments. We also had an update based on the VC3 quote that we went over last meeting with the new IT provider. So that is also an adjustment. And so I think the numbers are pretty much finalized right now from what I can see. As far as the 26 goes. Are there any other follow-on questions from anybody on?
Yeah, just on the water operations contracted services, which basically is SOS. I forget how the length of the contract that we signed most recently, but there was an escalator from year to year. I think it was 3%,
There was an escalator.
but I noticed you've actually gone beyond that.
Yeah, we assumed that there would be an increase in fees for the tank,
But yeah, okay,
and so we built in a little extra for that.
okay,
Because our current contract ends in June.
okay, so we're gonna have to
We
negotiate
have a
this
new,
yeah,
we're
contract,
gonna have a new
okay, yeah,
contract.
all right,
The end of the 25 fiscal.
Yeah.
24, 25.
yeah, okay. That's all I had.
Yeah, that's a hard one to sort of put a number out there and
Yeah.
negotiate. But it
Right,
is what it is. Yeah, I think Kevin has made no bones that it's gonna take more time down there. And I think he's right. So, all right, any other questions?
No, if you're good with this, I'll make the copy for the town report so you guys can sign it next meeting.
Right,
And,
thank you.
Yeah, good work.
good, excellent.
Rolling with punches in.
Yeah, Lisa too. And just to move to the CD maturity schedule. So now that we've gone to the monthly roll, which I certainly recommend continuing with, I still think that we are in the calm before the storm here. And so we've got a couple coming up. We've got one on the 17th and one on the 18th of this month. And then on December 9th, which we'll need to act on before the meeting on the 9th. Evening of the 9th. And so, you know, the recommendation is that we continue to roll monthly at this point. You know, we're not picking up anything when they, you know, even though there was an interest rate cut the other day, you know, these are all worked into blended rates. So even if you're in a period for half of it on one rate, half for another rate, it's still blended and it still works out to be, you know, half and half over the
So
time.
you're recommending we go monthly, continue?
Yes, yes, for now.
Okay,
I move that we take that advice and go forward on a monthly.
I'll second.
any more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear all the ayes? Jim, you still there?
You're on mute. Jim.
You're muted, Jim. Jim, you're muted.
I saw.
You're muted.
Oh, there you go.
There.
Hi.
Aye. Okay, now it's unanimous.
Thank
Aye,
you.
And I have to
Andy?
apologize. Frank had asked me to include the CD maturity schedule in the packet and I failed to, so I will make sure I do that each month.
He explained it.
Yeah.
Very succinctly.
I emailed it to you guys, so you have it in your email.
yes, I went in there and looked, thank you. Thank both of you for all that. So we'll move on unless there's more there to the draft annual report by Brian. And let's see, I looked through the question I had, did we raise the fees last year?
No, 2023.
Yeah. And we've approved a fee increase for the coming year.
Okay, but 2024, there was no fee increase. Okay,
Correct.
No.
all right. Anybody got inputs, typos, commas on a different picture besides blue?
You might not have seen I made one change to it that Lisa handed us out at the meeting. Where under water quality, I deleted the sentence about PFAs because we didn't touch the PFAs. We don't have to again until 2026. We're in that 2-year skip.
Okay. All right. Any other input, or are we good with this?
I would like to commend the author.
Yes. Well written.
Well, I followed Larry's template.
I did notice some plagiarism. All right, So,
Why create when you can copy?
anyways, thank you, Brian. And was there a motion to accept?
I move to accept the annual report.
Second,
Okay, further discussion? Hearing any? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. It looks like it is unanimous. Okay, the SharePoint folder. Are we supposed to be doing that tonight? Oh, we're supposed to be getting an update from Corinne on it, right?
Yes, and I'm just not here.
Well, all I can say, the agenda package went out on SharePoint and I think it worked excellent.
It,
And you're seeing that too, I think, Larry. You just gotta click on the link and it pops up, so.
That's not SharePoint though, that's in the website.
Oh, that's the website.
yeah, that's different. So the SharePoint's where we put all that stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I'll follow up with Corinne and see where we are with that.
okay. Correspondence, let's see. This is from,
This was, Danielle sent this out to all the boards
okay.
from Northwest Regional Planning. If anybody wanted any input.
So let's see, note, input session, the 11:15 rural resilience input session is geared towards organizations that provide support to towns. All are welcome. Okay, climate action input session for municipalities, okay, is November 19th. Up above there. Okay. So if anybody's interested, looks like there's a link to register. And I guess that's about it, unless somebody else wants stuff there. Future agenda items. Let's start at the top and look down to see Wagner Development Partners. You know, we probably, it might be good to have them show up in December. Do you think?
I agree.
Okay, so let's put them on notice that we want them there in December. SOS, water credit, lane board discussion. Changes. Yeah, I guess an update on the online bidding process would probably be appropriate as the select board works on that. The water storage tank timeline, we still need that. I think we're out of the wetlands. DRB follow-up for Jim. Just that it has been accepted and everything's filed.
Do we want to put the building permit on?
I was gonna say, we take off the DRB decision, and put the building permit on there in its place.
There you go. Okay, building permit, get rid of the DRB. Thanks, guys. The step 3 construction loan, let's call it progress update. The water tank, I guess it's gonna be blue. Bid schedule. I don't think we need the bid schedule there. US.
I'd leave it just in case something might have changed. I mean, right now, the bids are due on December 20th, but it's not unheard of that may change.
So let's put bids due December 20th. And update. How about that?
And actually, and I failed to mention this earlier, if it matters to anyone, there actually is going to be a pre-bid meeting on November 20th. Here, for any contractors that want to come and talk to us and the engineer and visit the site.
Okay.
Yeah,
But they don't have to pay for it.
So November 20th, okay.
that's at 11 o'clock.
So Andy, can you put out a note for the board, like the day before or something, reminding them?
Pre-bid meeting, sure.
Yeah, and also the select board.
I don't know that the select board would be interested in the pre-bid meeting, but I'll let them know.
Yeah, well, I think they'd like to know how it's going, so that would be sort of the flow of
Okay, we'll do that.
information. Okay, thank you. Phase 2, US Route 2 water line replacement. So we're gonna have a timeline there. And we're gonna have a update by Brian on phase 2 to talk about. And let's see, that's December. We won't have a contract by then. So I guess we don't need that. Discussion of disbursements and requirements. I guess we probably just need to keep the MBRC grant up there as a placeholder. And obviously the USDA grant, we're gonna need a new monthly project budget report and a update. CRRP grant. Now, where is that? Is that signed off? That's all signed off and moving forward, right? Yeah, so,
Yeah, we got money on it.
okay, so we'll just leave that reimbursement update in case we get more. Financial, why don't we leave it financial, not report, but as a headline, financial, and that will be Frank's gig with CD maturity under it. And if you have something else that comes up during the month, Frank, let us know, and or let Lisa know, and we'll add it right there under H. Well, it's not going to be H, but under financial. Draft annual report, that's gone. SharePoint, we still need. Anything else, guys?
Just want to pass, the fact that we've got all this government funding and all the various government agencies involved in this fairly simple project. This is the spec book. It's, I don't know, 2.5 inches thick.
Yeah, for a job that's far less complex than residential dwellings.
There you go. So I do have one other future agenda items. It's coming up on the holidays, so usually we do something for the folks. So what do we usually call that on the agenda?
Employee recognition or something.
Employee recognition.
Yeah.
Employee holiday recognition. And it could be and make that an action item, because usually we designate some funds. So however you need that to designate funds, Lisa.
Okay.
Anything else, gentlemen? Okay. How's the weather up there?
Nice today, getting cold, starting tomorrow.
There you go. So no snow though.
No, not yet.
So, all right. We ready to adjourn?
To adjourn.
I'll second.
I'll third. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye,
Aye.
aye.
Aye. All right.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody. I know there's a lot of work that's been going into this and a lot of debate, and I appreciate everybody's input and work. Have a great evening.
Yep, you too, Larry.
Bye.
See you, Jim.
Bye.
I'm gonna borrow this for a
Yeah,
day or two.
sure.
Wow,